Hello all, my name is Sherman Ballard and I am just making this video as it regards to non-governmental organizations. I currently have a case waiting before the Supreme Court of the United States and I'm currently in Washington, D.C. I am only making this video because we have a corrupt government and I wish to challenge them in a Ponzi scheme that they have going on with manipulation of our God-given rights. We have a right to be heard in the courts. We have a right to stand up and fight for those rights that's given to us by God, not man. Um, I believe in limited government, and I exercise them rights through documentation that I have submitted to the White House and other various House representatives, all that you can think of. I've listed them documents, and we have a case right now regarding procurement fraud. I'm quite sure if you are on the red pill, you pretty much know what's going on. But if you're not, then you're pretty much stuck in what we call the loop. It's very important for you guys to go ahead and start doing your research on this stuff, this type of stuff, because your tax dollars are being spent to protect these bad state actors. And unfortunately, we have come to a point where they will silence, they will they will attempt to scare you and use these tactics. It's not all law enforcement that does this, but it's definitely heavy at the top. And unfortunately, it works its ways down to us, we the people that actually give these people the power to be in these roles that they supposed to be there to help protect us from criminals, not them become the criminal and attack the people that's standing up for their God-given rights. We are not right now currently a nation under God. We are a nation under corruption, and they seek to silence, like I said, those that stand up against their system. Um, if you ask if my Democrat or Republic, I say I stand with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I don't pick and choose sides. I've learned that pick and choosing sides like that is only meant to divide us. Um, and if you wish to become one, you have to bring both sides together under unity, under one nation under God, not Democrat or Republic, but you have to bring both of them parties together, and that's what I'm here to do. But doing this forensic audit that I performed on a child support order that's out of the state of Florida, it was just so much fraud and corruption at each level, from the governor to the attorney general. So I then went to the DOJ. The DOJ did not help me. I was hoping for the best when I read the One Big Beautiful Bill and I seen all the perks that it gave us rights to go back and claim all of our credits from the past. So I went down that rabbit hole and found things that will leave your mind in like wow, in shock. Like this case that's before the Supreme Court right now is for $888 billion. And the reason why they have not paid it out yet is because once that case is ruled upon, it's going to expose all the non-governmental organizations that's actually robbing the taxpayers. President Trump did sign a executive order, him and Elon Musk, when they put together Doge, that they're going to be going after these non-governmental organizations. But the president said that on the public side, but when it got to the private side and I actually started to dig into everything as far as, who's getting paid, how much they getting paid, like which judges are getting kickbacks, and it led me to things that you would never in your million years imagine, like in the stakes they will go to try to keep that money train going. um is unbelievable. So do your homework and make sure these people that you do put your trust in, whether Democrat or Republic, make sure they're in the best interest for the people, not just just for yourself, because that will still leave us divided, and that shouldn't be the end goal. The end goal should be, all of us standing up for one another, all of us having equal rights, black and white, all of us being able to take advantage of the same things that the other parties take advantage of. It's just not for the rich and wealthy. This should be something that the government says, yes, this is not right, and we need to step in and do the right thing. Not, hey, let's try to frame somebody of a crime so we can get away with what we've been getting away with for so long. Unfortunately, that's the day and time we have come to, and it must be challenged. And in that challenge comes with great sacrifice. So I did pledge my life when I sought to stand up to these non-governmental organizations, which is referenced as NGOs. And when I said it's either you guys are going to kill me, or you going to, pay out the hundreds of billions of dollars that these non-governmental organizations has robbed from the taxpayers. And then when I did that, it it upset a lot of the bad state actors that are getting kickbacks and are in on the Ponzi scheme. Like I said, I'm not against law enforcement. I was once, a code compliance officer with the city of Miramar, where I tried my best to give back all I could, but it's not enough good officers, unfortunately, willing to donate their time, their energy into giving back to what made America great. In my view, like that made America great, like giving back, not just being greed and looking out for your own family, but looking out for other people's families that can't afford to help themselves. And even when I was working with the city of Miramar, I didn't make a lot of money, but I still said, well, dang, I still got to try to find a way to give back, to the people that's actually helping me keep employment, because they paying taxes to the city for the city to run. So in doing this audit, it's some dirty things going on. I'm talking about in this case, and the government knows about it. The House of Representatives knows about it. Congress knows about it, and I've been met with silence every step of the way. And retaliation, the government actually just sent pizza to my grandmother's house to let me know, hey, we know where you live, and if you keep this up, it's it's going to be more to come. And them the little warning shots they throw at you to try to get you to leave them alone, leave they Ponzi scheme alone, leave their game alone. And these people actually sacrifice their own children. I was on a train coming back from West Palm Beach, going to back to my grandmother's house, and when when the record reveals what it reveals, like my reports and my phone calls and my conversations to the tri-rail station on what I witnessed in real time, and asked if the train reporter witnessed the same thing. And it was just like wow, like this is incredible. um but we come to a day and age where if you're not going to stand up, for your own rights, at least do it for your children. Do it so you can leave the world in a better place. And that's what I when I said, okay, I'll make this sacrifice so that my children can have a better life. I just laid it all out on the table, and then I just asked, my Father, Jesus Christ. I asked Him for guidance, and He ordered all my steps, gave me all the documentation that I needed to to win. In my eyes, I've already won. A lot of people look at it, differently, but in my eyes, my mission is complete. Like, but God still has work to do. He still has kids here that He loves, and in order for Him to get His win, um, we need more people of courage. We need, more people of faith. We need to turn this nation back over to God, because right as of now, it's not run. It's not run under God. It's run under non-governmental organizations. It's run over greed and people of power that can abuse the vulnerable people, the people that are, the people that can't stand up for themselves, the people that has in their eyes everything to lose. But I'm here to tell you, you have to do it, especially if you're a male. You have to do it for your kids. If you're not going to do it for yourself, at least do it for your legacy, because what this what this world has become, is really sad. It's really sad and depressing, because we're not one nation under God. We're divided. We're Democrats, Republic, and at the top of all of that sits the NGOs. You know, we really have to attack them, because they the ones that's controlling these bad state actors. You have good state actors that won't go with the program, and they get the same kind of treatment that I just told you. I witnessed with the pizza deliveries at your residence to let you know, hey, we know where you live, and we won't stop at nothing to silence you. They even went so far to take a judge's son's life, and the way they do these things is it's just sad. It's like I said, it's not a place that's run on God. As of not right now, is not a place that's run on God. It's a place that's run on greed, power, self-enrichment of the people that we elected in these positions. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we come to this place, day, time, and age. And like I said, I had to have a conversation with my daughter. Said just turned 18 on May 22nd. I had to have a conversation with my oldest daughter. Hey, this is what needs to happen in the event that I die. To have that conversation with your child, the one that you're actually fighting a corrupt system with, for them to have a better life, and to see your child cry, to see your legacy pour out the way I saw my oldest daughter cry, is something I wouldn't wish on nobody, because it's not right. That's not built off love. That's not built off mercy and everything that the Bible talks about. That's not built off trust. That's not built off one nation under God. She couldn't understand how, these people of power, the top cop of Florida, Attorney General James, the top cop of the United States of America, Attorney General Todd Blanche. Like, these are people I went to, documentation. I had to show my daughter in the event something happened to me. This is the folder right here you need to give to this person. You shouldn't have to do that when it's a nation that's built off God. You shouldn't have to watch your child cry. Like, I wouldn't wish that. No, you shouldn't have to watch your child cry because something that you're doing is right and the system is failing us as a nation. And this is what we'll come to. I mean, it's unfortunate, but we really need to turn that around, and it's not going to get turned around with somebody that's going to be too afraid, that's not going to walk by faith. um it's not going to be turned around by bad state actors, because they will keep the money train going as long as they possibly can. But when they're challenged by God Himself, because this is not my doing. And I've said that continuously throughout all of my documentation, and the record will prove it as well. That this is not the power of Sherman D.R.V. Ballard. This is the power of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Like, when He got hold of the case, He guided me everywhere I needed to guide it, needed to be guided. He told me what documentation to send, how to send it. I mean, I have flaws, as you can see in the spellings on some of my documents, because you know I dropped out of high school, so I should have you know took some more English studies when I did that. But it's a lot that comes with this journey. But first, you really have to be guided by Christ, because is a lot of people out here that wish to harm me. And I'm just doing this video so the world can know, why I made the sacrifice that I made, why I chose to stand up to bad state actors, why did I choose you know to sacrifice my life so my three daughters can inherit the legacy of what they were supposed to have from day one of birth. um but we come to a day and age where this government, this administration has not shown good faith. They have not shown integrity. They have not shown me or my family mercy. I've sent documentation over asking for the same treatment that you know people of the opposite complexion from me receive, without pushback, without delay. But that's not what I've received. I received death threats. I received retaliation, not just for myself, but for my wife. They've tracked my phone, her phone. They even went as far to one of the witnesses that signed my documents to challenge them. They even went so far as to put a foreclosure on his house. That's not one nation under God. That's a nation that seeks to destroy. Um, and we have to stand up for our God-given rights. If nobody's going to stand up for the God-given rights that we are inherited from our Father, the person that created this whole thing that we're part of. If nobody's going to stand up for them rights, then bad state actors are going to continue to thrive off not being challenged. They're gonna thrive off of you know just being at the top, and it has to stop. It has to stop. I mean, but in order for it to stop, somebody's got to be willing to make that sacrifice. Somebody's got to be willing to say, you know what, I sacrifice my life so the rest of the world can win. Not just my legacy at this point, because when I win, you know, when my legacy wins, I have things in place where all mankind can win. Um, Business plans that's already been drawn up to bring hospitals, to Kara City, to bring businesses, to bring factories for, black and white jobs, not just for the elites. Gas prices are sky high, and the normal person is underwater. And somebody has to be willing to sacrifice their life for the rest of the world to win. And that's pretty much how I see it at this point, because tomorrow's not promised for me. I mean, Secret Service know where I'm at because Todd Blanche know where I'm at. Um, DOJ, yeah, that he's DOJ. So for the top cop of the world for you to go to him for help and be met with the kind of retaliation that I've been met with is it's not fair to not just me, but it's not fair to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world depends on him to look down at the other law enforcement, attorney generals, or governors to enforce our rights, as I went to him to enforce my rights. And when he announced the procurement fraud, and when they went into the cabinet meeting and they said hundreds of billions of dollars have been stolen from the taxpayers, and when um, Vice President J.D. Vance said it's not just it's not just the taxpayers, but it's the families that's hurting because of the fraud. Yes, it's my families that suffer. It's my three daughters that I have to say, I'm sorry, daddy don't have it, still don't have it. Like, it's by the grace of God that my oldest daughter just, was able to get into college, and I'm so proud of her, because that's her journey. That's what she wants to build. That's her legacy. She wants to run track, and as parents, we need to be mindful of what your child wants to do. And if you have to sacrifice what you have to sacrifice as a man, because you are the head, you need to make sure you're doing everything in your power to sacrifice that, so your legacy, your children can inherit, what they deserve, and they can live out their dreams, because your dreams may not be their dreams, but you have to be willing to lay your life down on the line for your offspring. I mean, that's the purpose we're here. We have to leave this world a better place, and then the only way you can do that is by challenging what's in place now, because what's in place now is not for the American people. It's not for keeping families together. It's not for one nation under God. No, it's that's not what is built off today. I'm sorry to say it, and I have the documentation to prove it. And it's come to that point in time to where we just have to, we have to do what's right. We have to stand up to these people that traffic their own children. We have to stand up to these NGOs that's taking away our rights, our God-given rights, and these bad state actors that allow it to be carried on through them. And they go in these back rooms and they laugh, and they trample all over our rights. It's not every judge, it's not every cop, because I've worked with some good police officers. I work with some good people that will be willing to lay down and sacrifice their life so they can leave the community a better place, not just their families, but the communities that they come from. Um, but like I said, we have some that's at the top that's that don't means humanity any good. They just look to enrich themselves and their families. They can care less about the American people. And I had to sacrifice what I had to sacrifice so not only my kids can win, but your kids can win, and your kids can have a future as well. Not just the people that's in these top positions that's already wealthy, that only seeks to destroy, what you're working so hard for, your legacy. Like we have to do a better job, as this is a country that's backed by God. Our whole system is built off God, faith and belief. And we must surrender this country back to what them principles that we are built off of. We must surrender that back to what it was built off of from the very beginning. And that's why it's called, reconciliation, because we have to give that back. We have to give back everything back to God. And the only way we're going to do that is through challenging, what is evil. And what is evil is corruption in my eyes. What is evil is self-enrichment. What is evil is knowing that, you know, you could have said, "Hey, I can't go along with this program. I have to step down, because this is wrong, and what you're asking me to do, I can't do. So I have to find a better way, because this is not right, and that's not everybody can do that, especially once you are immune to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. Trust me, trust and say it was a hard decision for me to give up good benefits. It was a hard decision for me to, you know, give up a paycheck every 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, all we have is integrity, And if you're gonna seek to destroy somebody else's family only to enrich your own, that's not one nation under God. That's one nation under, oh, I gotta just do for me and my family. And I couldn't do that. I had to explain it to my oldest daughter. I couldn't just sit back and push an agenda, knowing you know that it's not doing the people any good. Like I said, it is good people out here, but I was looking to be that one to make more improvement. And hopefully it's more people that join that walk. I mean, it's a tough walk. It's not easy, and if you're not guided by my Father, by our Father Jesus Christ, you will fail, because He's the only one that allowed me to get this far. You know, He's the only one that allowed me to be able to say, "Dang, if something happens to me, my family gonna be taken care of." And with that being said, just thank you for your time and your attention. I was planning on going live, but I didn't have enough followers to go live. I needed 1,000 followers. So I went ahead and made this clip instead. And thank you for your attention. And I hope, that we can actually turn this nation back over to God, and instead of the non-governmental organizations that run these bad state actors. And leave us know where to go to because they're controlled by the NGOs. So thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.